colleague at work, Bev.
The pin there. Oh, yes. Okay, welcome back, guys. We are back on the other side. We're just going to wait for a few more of you to join us. Hello, Frank Lambs. Who else have we got up here? Thanks, guys. You're all coming on. And we're just going to wait for a few of you to join. Hi, Trevor. Hi, Miss Williams. Let me just pin the comments. So what we're talking about at the moment is repatriation. Of course, in the wake of everything that's gone on in the world, it's rocked us all. But, you know, as black people, we've been feeling the trauma really deeply. And it's kind of opened up this narrative about whether or not, what are we doing here? Do we even belong here? Why do we want to be somewhere where we're not wanted? Why do you want to be somewhere you're not wanted?
I don't even know, Janelle. I've been asking myself this question every decade when I get older. Every decade when I get older, from my 20s to my 30s. And it's just been a bit of a mess. But now it's just more, it's in the surface of, you need to make moves to go now. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't, why would you, it's like staying in a relationship and you just keep getting beaten up. You just won't do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? You have to take some steps to be able to come out of that domestic violent relationship.
That's such a
and
good
this
analogy.
is exactly what we're dealing with. These people are beating us. They're raping us. They're doing all sorts, you know. And I think that's the reason why George Floyd's death is really hit us so much, because that neck, that he had his knee on the neck, we can all identify with that. You understand what I'm saying? That was us. That was us. Can't breathe in the workplace. Can't breathe. Can't be yourself. Walk down the road. You have to cross the road because you don't want that white woman or that old woman to think that you're going to rob her or you're going to rape her. Or do you understand what I'm saying? This is what we've been going through. This has been our struggle as black people. And white people won't understand it because they're not us. They haven't gone through the trauma that we've gone through, and we're still going through it.
But you know what? They don't need to necessarily understand it, because they will never understand it, because they don't walk in our shoes. But what they need to do is be open to hearing what we've got to say, and open to doing what they can within their sphere of influence. This is something I spoke about, within their sphere of influence, to make a difference. But we're going to talk about, so we've got 2 more lives lined up for this week. One on Wednesday, one next Sunday. The one on Wednesday is going to be talking about systemic racism in the workplace and dissecting that. When you've heard of the terms, you know, microaggressions, subconscious bias, all of these terms, all of these things that we know that we face each and every day that we go into work. We spend the majority of time at work. So that's going to be on Wednesday. We will be advertising it. But right now, today, we are talking about, hi Pauline, I see you. We are talking about repatriation and whether it's realistic. We've heard from 2 people already.
So we've heard from Biggs, and we've also heard from Tali from Kaya Sound System. So, and
they've both bought land.
They've both bought land in Africa as well.
Yeah.
So
one in Tanzania
and in Zimbabwe.
Zambia.
Sorry,
Tali's bought in Zambia. So, and they're young. They're 36. Both. Well, Biggs was born in Jamaica, but raised majority of his life in the UK. But Tali was born in the UK, just like you, just like me. You know, born in Brent, raised in Brent. So it's doable. It's realistic. And she made a really valid and key point. She said, "Why am I gonna cripple myself with debt to have a mortgage here for hundreds of thousands of pounds when I could potentially go and build my own house, beautiful house, back on the continent? Why
would you do that?
Why would you do that?"
You
and
know,
when you start to unpick it,
it doesn't make no sense. And the thing is, you can design your house how you want, design your house. You can still continue to build on a house, you know, and it's just like being over there, you are limited to what you can actually do. You know, you still have to get planning permission. At the same time, you know, you don't even own the land.
That's right.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You just got the house.
So is it Shani Lambert? Shazzy, if you've rejoined us, I can't see you. So if you've rejoined us, then send us a request. If not, if there's anybody else who is watching at the moment who just wants to add some commentary in, please add the comments. Zainab, we see you. Zainab, I love the things that you're saying, because you've been talking about saying that, you know, maybe it's not going to be an easy transition, but once we all start going back and once we actually go as a collective, you know.
It gets easier.
Yeah.
It's just like anything. Everything's going. It's like when you start that new job. You're going into this new career, and you may not necessarily have done that job, but you've got, say, you just qualified. Now you're going to go and actually do the practical side of it. Now, it's that step, isn't it? You're still going to be learning. You're going to make mistakes. Let's not get it twisted out here. You're going to make mistakes. There's going to be things that you may lose money, you may not lose money, but the truth be told, you will never know until you actually do it. I mean, you think about our families who came over in a Windrush, I'm sure they just thought they were sold a dream, and when they came here, that was not the dream. Do you understand what I'm saying? But they had to make do with it. They had to create from the young creativity.
But they did it in spite of it, didn't they?
But they did do it in spite of it. But what I think was so amazing about that generation as well, because when you think about it, it's like their grandparents or their great-grandparents were slaves as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's really just having to really work into a system, knowing that you've been oppressed to be a certain way, now coming into this country that has oppressed you and still oppressing you, and then you're walking down a road and people want to spit on you. You're working for the National Health Service, the people don't even want you to touch them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Telling you to don't touch me, you black bastard, and things like that. These are the things that they had to go through. So you may be tested, but it's not going to be like that forever.
It's not going to be like that forever, and I think you cannot allow the fear of what might go wrong to stop you. You've just got to go forwards. I don't know if Coach Levine is on here. Trisha, are you on? And if you are, would you be willing to come on and talk about your experience? You mentioned about going back to the continent twice, and you mentioned that it's something that's firmly within your sights. So, would you be willing to come on and join the conversation? I'd love to hear your experience. I'd love to hear, what you've found.
I'm liking what Zainab is saying. She's saying if we want to change the corruption in Africa, then we need to go into politics in Africa and bring the change these people need and deserve. So it is also, getting ourselves in certain position to be able to make those changes. Who I really want to hear from as well is Mr. Maurice, in terms of why he was saying the repatriation is not going to happen in this lifetime as well. So it'd just be interesting to hear.
I'm not sure if Mr. Maurice is back on. Mr. Maurice, if you're back on, let us know whether or not he wants to
do the live.
But I'm gonna actually send it to him. So yeah, we just really want to hear from you guys, and anybody that's on here actually that maybe is born in the UK but is of African descent, wherever that might be, whether you're Nigerian, Ghanaian, Tanzanian, Zambian, wherever you may be from. If you want to talk about your experience of being here but having that connection to your homeland as well, we'd love to hear from you if you can. So
and remember, Janelle, I was telling you about a Dr. Odewale Kobam. He's originally from Chicago, and he's gone to Ghana, and he's basically just started a life over there, where he's also at the Ghana University, where he's educating the young people over there. He's managed to teach himself how to speak several different languages, the African tongue as well. And he's also got a website where they actually talk about the steps in regards to if you want to go back to Ghana, the steps that you need to take. It's www.repatriation.ghana.com.
So maybe you could type it in the comments, because then people can jump on it.
It was such a powerful story that he's got to share, because he was just tired of the struggles of always dealing with the brutality in terms of the police force in Chicago, and this is where it led him there. And he's just amazing. And the website, they also give you information how you can actually purchase house land in, say, Accra in Ghana, and they will support you. They also do like a survey just to see if you are even ready to make that transition. So that's definitely worth checking out. So I'm also going to put that there for you guys to check it out.
Now, I've also got Adara Couture on here, a wonderful fashion designer. Dara, would you be happy to come on and speak? You're Nigerian and you operate your business. I met you running a fashion show actually, and I was just blown away by your designs and what you had. And you for you it was just a hobby, and you were so, you know, you were kind of so floored by the fact that I found your design so beautiful. So if you're prepared to come on as well, please then just send us a request or give me a sign and let me know, because as I say, this is interactive and we really want to hear from you guys. Maybe there's some of you out there who are saying, yeah, it's not realistic, or why do I need to go back? This is my home. Why do I need to go back? Like, why do I need to leave? You know? So if that's your opinion, if that's your view, and you think, well, why should I be forced out of the place that I was born and raised, then we want to hear from you too. Nanny Shahs, thank you for joining us again. I was trying to add you in the live. We'd love for you to come on. So just give me a little wave or a signal or a thumbs up to let me know. You're a black nanny in the UK. Would you like to join the live? And Pauline's sister would love to speak. So Pauline, if I add you now, Pauline, tell me if Marcy is with you now. Pauline's my hairdresser, by the way, who I love, absolutely love. Pauline has been my hairdresser now for probably the past 22 years, I would say, and I just call her magic hands. She's a beautiful spirit in and out, and you know, she's just somebody that I really admire and really respect, and you know, really look up to, and somebody that's been there for 22 years. She's been in my life, and she's always encouraged me and nurtured me. So Pauline, you know, thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching. And if Marcia is prepared to join, then I'm gonna try and add you now. So if Marcia is with you, Marcia is Pauline's sister, by the way, and Marcia has actually okay, Nanny Shahs, I see you. So we're going to let Pauline and her sister go first. So Marcia has actually bought land in Gambia and set up in Gambia. So Pauline, I'm going to request you now, and you can then get Marcia her journey to the Gambia and how she got going and how she got started and why, in fact, she got started. So we're requesting you now. Something should pop up on your screen, Pauline. So you just need to accept the request. So give me a sign if you can. Otherwise, we'll go to Nanny Shahs, and we will have a chat with Nanny Shahs, a black nanny in the UK. Let me know if you're having difficulties, Pauline. We're waiting for you. We're waiting for Marcia. Okay. Doesn't look like they're on. Doesn't look like they can join. Pauline's on, but it doesn't look like you can join. Pauline, I'm going to send you a request again after we've spoken to Nanny Shahs. When you see the request, you just accept it, and then you will automatically pop up, okay? So I am going to go to Nanny Shahs. Let's go to Nanny Shahs. Where is she now? I can't see her.
Do you need to search for it, perhaps?
Okay. And let me type in her name. No.
No.
No. Nanny Shahs, where have you gone?
It'd still be great to hear from some of our viewers, just to give their views about if this is something that they would consider doing, and what could be potentially holding you back.
No, we can't find Nanny Shahs. Pauline, I'm going to try one more time. We're going to continue to talk, but I'm going to try one more time. Nanny Shahs, if you're there, please rejoin. And Karen, I see you, Karen. Karen, maybe if you're feeling brave, you might want to come on and talk about, you know, you're of Nigerian descent as well, so you might want to come and talk about that if you're feeling brave. We just want to hear about everybody's experiences, about the beauty of Africa, and about the possibilities of actually repatriating, if that's what people want. So Pauline, I'm going to try you one more time. And if we can't get you, website not working. Oh, okay, we'll come to that later. We'll pass you the details later, Candice. We'll pass you the details later. So as we wait for Pauline, as Kaz said, if anybody else wants to come on and talk about what their thoughts are about repatriation. It might not even be repatriation to Africa. It might be that you want to go back to the Caribbean. That's where your parents are from, your heritage is from. Maybe you've even done that already, and you want to talk about that experience, or maybe you're looking to do that, or maybe you're in the process of doing that. So, you know, we just want to hear from you guys, really. So, Pauline, I think you're struggling. Yeah, Pauline's struggling. So, Nanny Shah's. Search Sharda Lambert. Thanks, Tully. I'm trying. I can't find her. Let me try her. Sharda. No, she's not on. She's not on.
You're putting the wrong on.
Karen, do you want to join us? Give me a thumbs up, Karen, if you want to join us. Oh, maybe another time, Karen said. All right, I'll leave you to it, Karen. So we've been talking about it, and, you know, you've been to Ghana. Tell me about your experience of when you went to Ghana, Karen.
Do you really want to hear my experience?
Yes, tell me your experience. That's why we're asking.
When I first got to Ghana, I travelled with Ghana Airways, and they're busted now. And those who are Ghanaian descent and they know about Ghana Airways, they will also know it was quite a corrupted airline. So my first take when I actually arrived to Ghana, I didn't actually have my luggage. I literally, the clothes that I had on, my handbag that I had, that's literally what I had with me for like over 2.5 weeks, because I wasn't able to get my luggage. My luggage was left in the UK, and somehow it managed to find its way in Brussels. So it just didn't arrive to me until the last 6 days remaining of my holiday. However, when I got there, obviously with that experience, I stayed with one of my best friend. He's a guy, he's been living in Ghana for over 12 years now, so he made that transit and that transition. However, what I found is when I got to, say, my visit to Amina Castle, Cape Coast, that's when it just made sense to me. I would say it made sense in terms of why I didn't have my luggage. Because the experience that I actually encountered when I got there, where I saw how, you know, my ancestors were, you know, how they were in the dungeons. The tour operator actually goes and tells you the story of how it was for them, and they closed the dungeon door, and you can hear the sea. You can see the marks, the smell. That was in 2008, and it still affects me. It still affects me, and I think it affects me more so now because of the times that we are living in, and this is just the reality of.
Keep talking. We're going to add Danny Shah. Do you
understand what I'm saying? That the you know, the system that we are under, it isn't. They don't. We should have never made this place become our home.
Hi.
Good evening.
Camera. Hi.
Hi.
Gorgeous.
Tell us.
Thank you.
Tell us your name and a little bit about what you do.
Okay, I'm Sharda Lambert. I'm also known as Nanny Shahs online. I'm a international nanny, a parent coach, sleep consultant, and potty training specialist. I've been in the childcare industry for about 18 years now, and I've just decided to kind of put myself out there on a public platform. And then I happened to find you guys by accident, and I'm very happy.
By accident, but all divinely ordained.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Never by accident.
Tali is part of a mentor group I'm in, so I saw her go online, and I was like, I love Tali, so I was like, let me get online, and I saw you guys. I was like, oh, more Black women. Okay, let's do this.
Love it.
So, as you know, we're talking about repatriation in the wake of everything that's happened, the backlash and the ripple effect and everything, the response from the world. We're keen on trying to talk about real solutions and real options to combat this kind of, you know, persistent racism that we face. And Kaz said it's almost like you're in an abusive relationship. You know, we're talking about repatriation because that's been suggested as one of the options. Why stay where you're not wanted? Just go somewhere where your roots are from and set up there. So Kaz said it's like being in an abusive relationship. You know, you're being battered every day by your partner, but you stay. You know, you've got to take the decision. And that's no disrespect to anybody who's in a situation of domestic violence. We're not to say that. It's just an analogy. But, you know, whatever, if you're living in the face of adversity and you know that you could have a different life, why not? So what are your views on that?
I think it's very realistic. I'm British born, but my heritage is Jamaican. But I've never, even though I was born in Birmingham, I moved to London when I was about 6. I've never felt at home in England. I don't know what it is. I travel the world a lot with my nanny job. And one of the places I've been very lucky to nanny in is Nigeria. When I went to Nigeria, it was a feeling I can't describe. It was like, it's like I had been there before.
Wow.
And I know a lot of black people have said this before as well when they've stepped foot in Africa for the first time. And I was like, this is where I need to be. I need to be home with my people. I think it's realistic, and I felt celebrated out there. Like, I'm walking down the road, people like, beautiful queen. I'm like, oh, I could get used to this, you know. In England, it's a lot different. So I just feel, like I said, I am Jamaican, but I feel more at home. Even when I went to South Africa, the vibe's just different. You're celebrated. Here, I feel like I'm tolerated. But when I'm back home, I feel like I'm celebrated. I'm welcomed. You know, I feel like I have a place of belonging. And to the point where even when I came back to England, I felt like it was weird. It was like I was going to a foreign place. Like I was leaving my home to go to a foreign, but this is where I've lived all my life. So it felt really weird. It felt very, very weird. And for that reason, I am making plans now to move to Africa. I don't know where yet. So my plan is for the next 2 years to travel to every single country within the continent, and where my heart tells me or my soul says this is it, that's where I'm going to stay. And that's the plan.
Amazing.
That's so powerful. That's so powerful, so brave, but yet still so timely, right?
Of course.
Because,
thank you.
Because like we said, like, we feel like we're not wanted. But you said you've never felt welcome here, even though you're born here. If I'm honest, I feel exactly the same.
Yeah.
Why is it that we have a conversation when people say, where are you from? And you say, oh, I'm from the UK. I was born in the UK, but my parents are from. You can never stop at, I'm British.
I've never, it's crazy. The last couple of years, I don't say that. When people ask me where I'm from, I tell them straight away I'm from Africa.
Me as well. I say Jamaican.
Yeah, I tell them I'm from Africa, and they're like, really? Whereabouts, whereabouts from Africa? And I said, well, history took me from one place, and, I couldn't tell you exactly where. And you want to see, it's the uncomfortableness that these people's face looks like. When I say that, I'm not going to beat around the bush. It is where I'm coming from. We was taken from one place and taken to another place. I'm not from Jamaica. You understand what I'm saying? My parents were born in Jamaica, but historically we are from Africa. We are Africans. And, it's people that do feel uncomfortable. But I think what it is that we've been conditioned to bracket ourselves to make people feel uncomfortable. So we're going based upon what they're telling us, you're black, or you're black couple, or you're black African, like say Caribbean and things like that. They're telling us where we're from, and we have to tick the box. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. I'm just not doing it. I'm tired of it. I've been doing that for the last 2 years. I'm not doing it.
It's true. And I think it's very important that we invest in Africa a lot more. And I think this whole movement now, that people are starting to open their eyes. More people are a bit more open-minded now about investing in black businesses and investing in Africa. For me personally, one of my biggest goals is I'm going to set up a nanny academy in different countries in Africa, because one of the things that I found when I was working in Nigeria, I was working for quite a high-profile family out there, and I felt sad because the workers, so the women and the men that work for these families, they're not getting paid. They're getting pocket change. What we will look at as pocket change. And I'm there on my thousands a month, and I'm feeling bad, like, oh, because I'm British, my wage is better than theirs, and it's because they don't have the education. You know, not they're not educated to where they feel confident to, you know, demand a certain way. So I said, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna open up a nanny academy, and I'm gonna teach women or girls that want to be professional nannies the British way, the black British way, and just teach them. Definitely, yeah. And you know, like I said, my platform, my Nanny Child platform, is to break barriers, to break stereotypes and social norms of what a black nanny is. Because right now, I look online, mainstream wise, I don't see anyone representing me. You know, so I want to be the change that I want to see. So, and since I put myself out there, I've had other black nannies come to me. I've had white nannies. I've had Indian nannies. Like, oh my goodness, like this is what we've been looking for, someone that can, you know, represent us in a sense. And so it's very important that I go back to Africa, and I say back like I was born there, but my ancestors come from there. But and invest. And my way of investing is I'm going to buy land. I'm going to invest in property. I'm going to with my education, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to teach other people how to be nannies. So that's my way. That's my way of doing my part. But I think us as a race, we need to do that.
That's how it's supposed to be. I personally believe is that how us being there in the West, we're supposed to take all of what we've learned, everything, go back home and build up. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I really do believe. Somebody even made a comment, I think it was on our Instagram, and said, make it like Dubai. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we have got the power to switch the script. We can change it, but we have to be collectively in one mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? But ultimately, you know, like Tali was saying, we need to do it like as a group of us, and just, you know, it can't just be just.
You can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own. They say you need a village to raise a child. It's so true. And one of the things my mum always used to say to me was, united we stand, divided we fall. And I think that is just so important. And for me, that's why I'm always supporting black businesses. My initial thing is, if I need something done, I check if a black person's doing it first. And if I can't find that, then I'll go and look around. But that's my go-to. That's my go-to. And I think if more people thought like that, we could build up each other a lot more.
Yeah. Because we understand the struggle, because we live in the struggle. But you know, the missing piece to that jigsaw is the place that economics plays in that struggle. And a lot of us have missed that. And that is at the root and the base of everything. We are economically disadvantaged by 4 centuries. Because since coming out of slavery, you know, like people are saying, it's like a game of Monopoly where somebody had a 400 times. They had a 400 circuit head start on you.
We never get one time.
But not even that. When you've gone those 400 circuits, and then they say, okay, now we're going to play evenly. Now you can play too. They're still not giving you. You don't get the money. You don't get the little plastic properties. You got nothing.
There's no tools. There's no nothing. You understand what I'm saying? It's not even to listen.
And still we rise. Still we rise.
And it's a miracle, really, that we're still here.
Still we rise. Our culture is so rich. So like I always say, even if I died and came back, I would want to come back a black woman. Because we have a source. We just have source. Like, it's natural. And I think it's more, as I've got older, I've realized, like, this is naturally in me. This is a gift. This is a gift that we have. And I'm noticing not other people have it. Okay, what's special? You know? So
we also understand that we're special, because not everybody sees themselves as being special, because obviously we've got the post-traumatic slave syndrome. Do you know what I mean? So we're still challenged with that mentally. So you know, not everybody gets to that place where they can actually say, you know what, I am special, I am powerful, you know, and that's really healing as well.
I am worthy, yeah, for sure. 100% agree.
We definitely need healing, but I think the healing starts from that journey of reconnecting to your roots, understanding that you came from somewhere. You know, you didn't just come from the Caribbean, or you didn't just arrive here just like the stork just dropped. You know, the old story of the stork. The stork didn't just drop you in Central Middlesex Hospital. You came from there, you know.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of people who also want to be added, but I just want you to touch on. So you said this is your 2-year plan. So we were talking about climbing a mountain, and it's one foot in front of the other. Tell us what your first step is going to be.
So I've started to look at land already. I've been speaking to Tali, who's a part of a group. So I've joined them, and they obviously have gone out and done it already. So I think it's very important to find people that are doing what you want to do and connect with them. So it's, network and connect with people that have the same vision as you. So that's my first step. So they have webinars that they do online. So at the moment, I'm just gaining as much knowledge as possible. Because, like I said, between 0 and 5 years, like before I'm 40, I need to be out there. I'm turning 32 this year. So the plan is to be out there before I'm 40, ideally sooner. But like I said,
you set the plan, you put it in motion, because guess what? You are now doing, with anything, you got to do your research. So now you are actually doing your research.
Exactly. And I've been thinking about it for a long time. I've been thinking about it for many years. Why do I feel out of place? Like, and I haven't, it's so weird. I always dream about Kenya. I've never been. But every time I dream about Africa, Kenya is a country that keeps coming up. So I feel like I need to visit there. There's something in Kenya for me, and I'm not sure what it is yet. Maybe it might be my husband, but I don't know what it could be. I don't know yet. But I think, you know, there's a nice, lovely king in Africa waiting for me somewhere.
I think you're like a peacock kings. You're like the king tree, and you'll be like,
I hope so. Options, baby, options. I don't mind. So yeah, no, definitely. I think right now I'm in the research stage, but that is the plan, and I am the type of person, I'm very ambitious. So if I say I'm going to do something, it's going to happen.
Okay, and do you know what? This isn't a dating show, but if there are any kings watching, looking at this beautiful empress, and they might, would you accept a slide in your DM?
I don't mind shooting myself.
Listen, gorgeous. We want to continue to keep this conversation with you, to see your journey and maybe follow your journey and track your journey and bring you back on. And we'd love to do that. So
yes, most definitely.
Stay in touch. Stay in touch.
I will do. Follow Nanny Shahs, guys. I'm on all social media platforms.
In the comments when you come off. Just type in the comments.
All right. Okay then. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
She is so beautiful.
Wasn't she gorgeous?
Yes. Listen, mate. Africa's, listen, yo, them kings out there, when we come over, that's what I'm saying. I already put the word out there, innit? I told my brethren, look, you got to line me up now, because I'm ready for my king. He's got to be from Africa.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So Nanny Shahs, that was amazing. You know, she spoke about, like, it was really encouraging. She spoke about the fact that just like a lot of us, we've been born here, but we feel like we don't belong. I feel like I do not belong, and it's not that I choose not to belong, but it's just like wherever I try and insert myself, it doesn't quite fit. The door keeps jamming, you know. It's like it keeps getting stuck. When I try, you know, we're both really ambitious and we've both done well for ourselves in our various arenas, but it's like the ceiling just stops there.
Yeah. It's like you can't
keep backing my head.
Yeah, you can't go beyond it.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No matter how you try, it's not about putting in the work. It's not about any of that. I just know that it's like, it's almost like know your place
Mhm.
and rest in your place and don't try and go beyond your station, you know. So Nanny Charles has added her Facebook. Guys, follow her. We will bring her back on to understand her journey. There's a guy on here called Rohan, and Rohan's like, yeah, add me. So listen, Rohan, we're going to request you now.
Rohan, make sure you got likes. We want to
Where
see
is
you.
Rohan? Where are you, Rohan? I think Rohan has got light, but I'm going to try and find Rohan. And there we go, Rohan. We got you, Rohan. Okay. So, as we said, we're talking about repatriation and whether it's realistic. Hey, Rohan. What's
How
good?
you doing, ladies? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful, wonderful. I'm wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for adding me. You both look beautiful. You're shining.
Thank you. Look at you. You're glowing as well, Rohan.
Because I feel this way. I feel this way. Anyway, so no, a friend of mine, Christopher Ellis, he was the one that because I live in Canada, so I'm in Toronto.
T-Dot, big up T-Dot. I lived there before, by the way. Love it.
Where did you live? Which part?
I lived in Midtown. I lived right off of Eglinton, so I was right in the thick of it.
Okay, yeah. I'm about I live in Brampton, so from about Eglinton is about 20-25 minutes.
I also know Brampton because when I first moved, I lived with my aunt in Brampton. When I first moved up, I was there for a couple of years working on some international games out there. So lived in Brampton, then moved closer to town where I was working. Lived in just by St. Clair and Eglinton, and I absolutely loved it. Loved everything about it.
Lovely. No. So a friend of mine, Christopher Ellis, we was having I don't know if he came on it earlier, but I know he was listening.
Yeah.
Oh, he came on?
Yeah.
What did he have to say?
He didn't speak. He was watching. He was watching.
Yeah. So when I finished, because I've been coaching, I coach over here. I used to play professional football a long time ago, and so I was coaching, and then he sent me the link to your live. He's like, try and catch this before they go off. And because me and him was having a discussion the other day, and with what's been going on, obviously, after George Floyd had passed and the protests all over the world, which have been for him, but then for our people. And like, I've always been for stuff like that. But I was saying to Christopher, once we protest, after that, now what? So what is our objectives? What are we trying to go for? And one of you mentioned earlier, because I've been listening for the last 20 minutes, I forgot what you said. I can't remember. But my thing is, okay, we're protesting here, there, but for what exactly? Because you could go, like, say, for example, you come home, right, from your outside, and then you have your children in your house, and they mess up the house. And then you come back in and say, what, I can't believe, like, my parents, I want this, boom, bam, bam. But that you could make up that noise every week. But unless you have any plan and any goals for your children and structure to what we're trying to do, it's going to be the same thing again and again and again. And I don't know if you lot are mothers, but if you are, you're going to know as well as I do, because I'm a parent, that you need to have structure and you have to have clear communication to what you want. Or else you cannot start to say that again.
It said it doesn't make no sense.
Exactly. So if I don't say to I got a son and a daughter, listen, this is what I expect. I'm not going to accept as us as a people. I use them as an analogy. If we're not going to, this is what I expect. And if we don't get this, this is what the repercussions are going to be. And this is why this is what should be done in the house. Or for our case, this is why we should be treated in a certain way. Or if it's reparations or whatever we're trying to achieve from our protesting, which has been triggered by his death. And the only reason we're really going for it is because it's been caught on camera. We just need some points. But then aside from that, because that's in their land, right? And when I say their land, I've got lots of friends from different creeds, cultures, races. I've got loads of friends because I've been to so many countries. I lived in 13 countries. But when we think about where we from as a people, whether we're born in Jamaica, whether you're born in Africa or certain countries there, or the Caribbean in general, whether we think we're born from there, a lot of us might say, oh, this is not our land and that England or the America or Canada. But a lot of us, and I wrote this in your comments, we don't really know much about where our parents are from if we're first generation English. We don't know a lot. And then guess what? sometimes our parents don't even know a lot. And when I say, you know, they're not even the most educated. Sometimes we think, oh, this is mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy loves me, provides for me, and they're your hero. If you've got a present parents that have been in your lives, but they don't know a lot. They're not even economically educated. They're financially illiterate as well. Yeah. So they work hard, but they're not smart. So our teachers, our first teachers, who are our parents, they're not even educated from where we're from. So when we start saying, oh, we need to go back maybe and start to, there was one girl in there that said something, I think it was, I can't remember her name.
Sorry.
Yeah, she said something. No, not the girl that was speaking. There was a girl that wrote something. She said about taking what we've learned and investing in Africa or wherever we're from. That's smart, but we need to first start to educate first on economics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and educate, because some people talk about the race stuff, but if we have, when I say have, if let's say your parents, both of you parents, owned like, I don't know, 50 houses, that gives you some kind of foothold in the game. And then you start to be able to not be at the mercy of the system because you got power. Exactly. But we don't know how this thing works. So then we're dependent on the government because you need them because they're going for government. So how do you create your own stuff? How do you create your own stuff and then start to create maybe your own rules, your own schedule? Oh, it's difficult in England. We don't earn enough. Brilliant. That's cool. We can all say that. But then now we've got to start educating ourselves and even sometimes having a word with our parents or parents educated children on how economics works and how money works, and then talk about where we're from, whether it's the Caribbean or Africa, and how we can live a life in both places and live a brilliant life. And then we don't need to be exposed or kind of like at the mercy of some of the law or the officers in these countries, and not just even be police officers, it could be work industries. So like you were saying that you feel that there's a glass ceiling, and we're dealing with that.
It's concrete, ain't even glass enough.
It is, but we have to, you know, like for example, if we think like that and don't talk about the alternatives, we're in trouble.
Yes,
We're
agreed.
in trouble. So we went through a lot. Obviously not. Well, we've been through our personal stuff, but imagine I heard you. What's your name, young lady? I call you Langy. The one with, there you are smiling. You got a nice smile. Name?
Kaz, beautiful Kaz.
Beautiful Kaz. So beautiful Kaz, you was talking and it was sad to see how you were still emotionally affected about what you said you experienced, the dungeons and so forth. Yeah. Very, very touching, very, very powerful, because just even watching your facial expressions, it kind of took me to where you was and what you felt, but we can only imagine what they had to deal with, right?
That's right.
It's a horror movie, but real life. So now it's like, okay, this is what they went through, but they fought for that. They risked their lives, and we've moved on, and we've moved on. So now we're not free, but we are freer. But now it's about, okay, how can we free the mind so we don't feel, okay, there's this ceiling there is this ceiling there. Because there is, but now we got to think about solutions. And then the other thing, which is very important, that the young lady that was just on there, she said, was to network. So this is the key thing with networking. It's first of all, you need to suss out who's
not kinfolk, who's not your kinfolk.
Okay, who's not capable, who's not awoke, who's not that, and that could be a brother, that could be a best friend sometimes. So you see that place, you know what? He's good for a giggle. She's good to talk about this thing. You can talk about girls with that person and giggle with that person and different things, but then you go, that person over there, serious, focused, got goals. And we start to reconnect with certain people and start to act. The key is to act. So, because a lot of times we talk about these things, but we don't act. So we don't have any actionable items. So it's like right now people protesting. Maybe you can educate me on this, because I've not really been watching a lot of the protest stuff, because I want to know, okay, after this process, what law do we want changed?
Come on.
Who do we have? First of all, forget the law. Who do we have in a certain
that's going to make those changes? I know exactly what you're saying, because that's the same conversation I had with the youngsters when I was at the protest yesterday. And I said, you know, it's great that you guys, we are here, we're protesting, but the change, we need to be in certain positions. We need to have a leader that is there, not about their ego, not about building themselves up, it's about the people. Now, if we don't have that, then this is like a dead exercise. Do you know what I'm saying? And I could see that's what's actually unraveling. But that's why, one of the reasons why myself and Janelle is having this show, because we're looking at solutions. We don't want to be just like, okay, we're just going to just jump on the bandwagon, on the trend, and we're just going to talk about George Floyd. No, we want to know what are solutions that's tangible that we could move forward, because we can all sit here and we can have a rant, but realistically, that's not getting us anywhere. It hasn't been getting us anywhere. So what do we now do? Do you know what I'm saying?
Question for you. Sorry to cut you as well. I appreciate that. What is, and this, I have a question at both of you, just being open. Beautiful Kaz, what is your, or 2 or 3 things that you personally would like to see come of this? You personally first.
Coming from what, the old situation, or coming from the show? No, coming from...
No.
Oh,
the situation. Yeah, the situation in terms of that. Yeah.
What I would like to see, I would like to see us having a leader that's actually going to help to build up the economy for us as Black people, help to change the laws, the regulation in terms of like the education system, because I think within the education system, what we had last week was a gentleman who's an ed teacher. He was talking about the education system. The education system is not teaching us about us. So that's one of the problems that we're having. Even when we're in the home, our parents are not able to even educate us about us because they don't even have the education themselves. So that already is an identity issue. Now, no disrespect to
It's kind of a little bit. It's kind of gone a bit distorted.
Me, my identity is not in what you're telling me. That's what I'm saying. My identity is right now. I'm from Africa. I don't even know where I'm from Africa. So I need to be educated. At the moment, I am personally educating myself. I'm personally dealing with my mental well-being because I am going through post-traumatic slave disorder myself, personally. You know, so I'm having to deal with self. Now, in order for me to deal with myself, that then puts me in a position so if I then decide, well, I'm going to move to Ghana, I'm in the right frame of mind to be able to deal with Ghana. I cannot go to Ghana with this way of thinking because right now I've been conditioned in a certain way to be, to think, and to how to be. But I have to do work for myself, and that's why I believe first and foremost it's got to be healing. Because if you don't have healing, you've got all this money, like Biggs was talking about, going around the monopoly 400 times, that's how they've been going. Now, if we had that, still, even maybe say going around it 100 times, but we don't have the right frame of mindset, then economically we cannot do anything because it's like you've been given money, you don't know what to do with it. You're going to just blow it because you're not in that right frame of mind, you're not thinking in a certain way. So that's what I believe personally, we need to be educated, we need to do with healing. That's just my opinion.
And what's healing? What is healing?
What happened?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
No, you've gone really low.
I'm gone low? You can't hear me now? You can't hear me now?
No, you need to go and put some headphones or something.
No, what I need is a haircut, you know. I need a haircut. Wait a minute.
You're trimming the sound right now. Don't worry about it.
Wait. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hang up and go straight back on because I can't. I hang up straight. I'm going straight back on.
Okay. Go. I was gonna say people can hear it. Oh my. All right. It's fine. He's gonna come back on in a minute. Well, you probably had that. Yeah. No, we could hear him, guys, but he was really, really low. Oh, there he is. There he is. Right. He's back again. Okay. So we are at around what?
Can you hear me now?
And I think what's interesting because I love your question.
Can you hear me?
We can just about hear you. Apparently the viewers can hear you. Your sound is muffled apparently.
Muffled.
Then
Wait, let me see. Is it me or is it them?
Guys, tell us who it is, but not you ladies. What's going on? Right. I don't know what's happened.
Me think say I don't know.
No, sir. Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
man. I don't know, and not me.
Guys.
Whatcha?
Feedback, guys. Can you hear
Claire.
us? Can you hear Kaz and Marcel? Then not wrong, Kaz. I just asked. So maybe what we might need to Our sound is muffled. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's you lot.
Do you know what? We've got about we've literally got about 10 minutes left. So we're going to restart the live anyway, because I have got I've got Marcia, who is the sister of my beautiful hairdresser Pauline, and she has relocated to Gambia as well. So we want to hear from her. So we're going to come up and come straight back on. Guys, stay where you are, please. Oh, they can hear all of us now.
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, I'm getting mixed messages. We're going to start the live again, Rohan. Please, guys, join us. We're coming back after this. This is Instagram, always technical issues. We're coming back.
We're gone.
Go on away.